So hello and welcome back yet again to Beverly of Graustark. It's yet again I am stuck wondering how we can have so many chapters left when in the last chapter, even though it was a little bit of a cliffhanger, it seemed like a triumphant moment. I mean, Count Marlanx seems to have been not completely cut off at the knees, but his desire to see Baldo strung up like a traitor seems to have been thwarted. And Beverly has mostly admitted to her friend Princess Yetiv that she loves him. And, it seems like everything's going great, but we still have a decent chunk of this book left. So I'm kind of wondering what the next twist is going to be in this twisty and turny book. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been a very weird weather day. Not that that's unusual around here, but very weird, and I'm really glad that I decided that today was going to be a day to make a run into town because I got up this morning and although very, very cold, it was sunny and that's exciting. So we went into town and it was sunny all the way into town. And then as we were coming home, it started to snow and more clouds moved in. And then it was almost a whiteout just a little while ago. And then the sun came out again and now it's snowing again. So I guess the weatherman that was on the radio on the way into town was correct when he said that it was going to be cold and sunny with a mix of snow and clouds. Basically, that's like every winter weather pattern in the span of 3 or 4 hours, except for sleet. Thank goodness. I don't like sleet. Anyway, it does sound like right now at least Graustark has much nicer weather because it does seem to be like early autumn there, and I'm a little bit jealous. Not jealous enough to wish myself anywhere but where I live, but still a little bit jealous because a little bit of warm would be nice. Anyway, we're going to be jumping back in to chapter 23 of Beverly of Graustark by George Barr McCutcheon, and chapter 23 is titled A Shot in the Darkness. Ah, that must be it. Somebody's going to get shot. That would throw a monkey wrench in. I guess we'll see. Baldo started off at once for the castle, his heart singing. In the darkness of the night, he kissed the message which had come to him from Her Highness. The envelope had been closed with the official seal of Yetiv, Princess of Graustark, and was sacred to the eyes of anyone save the man to whom it was directed. The words contained there were burned deep into his brain. You are ordered to report for duty in the castle. Come at once. Her Highness has sent an official command to Colonel Quinnox. Count Marlanx has been here. You are not expected to desert until you have seen me. There is an underground passage somewhere. And it was signed B. Baldos went alone and swiftly. The note to Colonel Quinnox had been imperative. He was to serve as an inner guard until further orders. Someone, it was reported, had tried to enter Miss Calhoun's room from the outside during the rainstorm the previous night, and a special guard was to be stationed near her door. All of this was unknown to Baldos, but he did not ask for any explanations. He was halfway to the castle when a sharp report of a gun startled him. A bullet whizzed by his ear. Baldos broke into a crouching run, but did not change his course. He knew that the shot was intended for him, and that its mission was to prevent him from getting to the castle. The attendants at the castle door admitted him, panting and excited, and he was taken immediately to the enchanted boudoir of the princess, which but few men were fortunate enough to ever enter. There were 3 women in the room. I am here to report, Your Highness, he said, bowing low before the real princess with a smile on his face. You are prompt, said the princess. What have you to report, sir? That an attempt has just been made to kill a member of the castle guard, he told her. Impossible. I'm quite certain of it, Your Highness, said Baldos. The bullet almost clipped my ear. Good heavens! Gasped the listeners. Then they eagerly plied him with more agitated questions than he could answer. And did you not pursue the wretch? Said the princess. No, Your Highness. I was commanded to report to you at once. Only the success of the assassin could have made me, well, hesitate. A soldier has to obey. Do you think that there was a deliberate attempt to kill you? Said the Countess Dagmar. Beverly, poor Beverly, was struck dumb with consternation. I cannot say, madame. Probably it was an accidental discharge. One should not make accusations unsupported. If you have no immediate need of my services, Your Highness, I will ask you to grant me a leave of absence for half an hour. I have a peculiar longing to go and investigate. There was a determined gleam to Baldos's eye. No! Cried Beverly. Don't you dare go out there again. You are to stay right here in the castle, sir. We have something else for you to do. It was that awful old Marlanx who shot at you. I left General Marlanx in Colonel Quinnox's quarters, Miss Calhoun, said Baldos. He could not have fired the shot. For 2 or 3 nights, Your Highness, Baldos went on, I have been followed and dogged with humiliating persistence by 2 men wearing the uniforms of castle guards. They don't sleep in the barracks. May I ask what I have done to be submitted to this treatment? There was a bit of poorly concerned indignation coloring Baldos's voice. I assure you this is news to me, said Yetive. I am being watched as if I were a common thief, said Baldos. These men are not your agents. They are not agents of Graustark. May I be permitted to say that they are spies set upon me by a man who has an object in disgracing me? Who that man is, I leave to your royal conjecture. Marlanx, said the princess. Yes, Your Highness. He bears me a deadly grudge, and he also fears me. I know full well that he and his agents have built a strong case against me and are almost ready to close upon me. And they will have false evidence so craftily prepared that even my best friends may doubt my loyalty to you and to the cause that I serve. But before God, I have been true to my oath. I am loyal to Graustark. It was a sorry day, though, when I left the valley and... Oh! Cried Beverly. Don't say that. Alas, Miss Calhoun, it is true, he told her. I am penned up here where I cannot fight back. Treason is laid against me, but beyond all this, I have permitted my loyalty to mislead my ambition. I have aspired to something that I can cherish but never own. Better I should never have tasted of the unattainable than to have the cup withdrawn just as its sweetness begins to intoxicate me. Baldos stood before them, pale with suppressed emotion. The women of Graustark looked involuntarily at Beverly, who sat cold and voiceless, staring at the face of the guard. She knew what he meant. She knew that something was expected of her. A word from her, and he would understand that he had not tasted of the unattainable. For one brief moment, she saw that she had deliberately led him on, that she had encouraged him, that she had actually offered him the cup from which he had begun to sip the bitterness. Pride and love were waging a conflict in this hapless Southern girl's heart, but she stayed silent. She couldn't say a word. "I think I know what you mean, Baldos," said Yetive, seeing that Beverly would not intervene. "We are sorry. No one trusts your honor more than I do. My husband believes in you. I will confess that you are to be arrested as a spy tomorrow. Tonight you are to serve as a guard in the castle. This should prove that I have unbound faith in you. Moreover, I believe in you to the extent that I should not be afraid to trust you if you were to go out into the world with every secret that I possess. You came here under peculiar stress of circumstances, not wholly of your own volition. But believe me, I am your friend." "I shall revere your highness forever for those words," he said simply. Baldos's eyes went hungrily to Beverly's turned-away face, and then assumed a careless gleam which indicated he had resigned himself to the inevitable. "I am constrained to ask you one question, sir," the princess went on. "You are not the common goat hunter that you pretend to be. Will you tell me in confidence who you really are?" The other women held their breath. Baldos hesitated for a moment. "Will it suffice if I say I am an unfortunate friend and advocate of Prince Danton? I've risked everything for him, and I fear I've lost everything. I've failed to be of service to him through no fault of my own. Fate has been against me." "You are Cristobal!" cried Dagmar eagerly. He gave her a startled glance, but offered no denial. Beverly's face was a study. If he were Cristobal, then what of his true love, the game warden's daughter? "We will ask no further questions," said Yetive. "You enlisted to serve Miss Calhoun. It is for her to command you while you are here. May God stay with you to the end. Miss Calhoun, will you tell him what his duties are for tonight? Come, my dear." Yetive and Dagmar slowly left the room, leaving Beverly and her guard alone. "I'm at your service, Miss Calhoun," he said easily. His apparent indifference stung Beverly. "I was a fool last night," she said abruptly. "No, I was the fool. I've been a fool from the beginning. You should not blame yourself, for I don't blame you. It has been a sweet comedy, a summer pastime. Forget what I may have said to you last night. Forget what my eyes may have been saying for weeks." "I shall never forget," she said. "You deserve the best in the world. Would that I could give it to you. You've braved many dangers for my sake, and I shall not forget. Do you know that we were watched last night?" "Watched?" he cried. "Oh, fool that I am! I might have known. And I have subjected you to... Don't tell me that harsh things have been said to you, Miss Calhoun." Baldos was deeply disturbed. "General Marlanx saw you. He threatened me, Baldos." "I'll kill him. What do I care for the consequences? He will pay dearly for... Stop! Where are you going? You are to remain here, sir, and take your commands from me. I don't want you to kill him. They would hang you or something just as bad. He's going to be punished, don't fear that. Baldos smiled in spite of his dismay. It was impossible to face this confident young champion in petticoats without catching her enthusiasm. What have you done with the rose? Said Beverly suddenly, flushing and diffident. Her eyes glistened with embarrassment. It lies by my heart. I love it, he told her. I think I'll command you to return it to me, she said vaguely. That command will be disobeyed. It was in exchange for my feather. Well, of course, if you are going to be mean about... Now, let me see, said Beverly. What are your duties for tonight? You are to stand guard in the corridor. Once in a while, you will go out on the balcony and take a look. You see, I'm afraid of someone. Oh, Baldos, what's the use of my trifling like this? You are to escape from Edelweiss tonight. That's the whole plan, the whole idea in a nutshell. Don't look at me like that. Don't you want to leave? Now, Beverly was shaking with excitement. I don't want to leave you, he told her. It would be cowardly. Marlanx would understand that you gave me aid. You would be left to face the charges that he would make. Don't you see, Beverly? You would be implicated. You would be accused. Why didn't you let me kill him? No, I won't go. Neither noticed the name by which he had called her. But I insist, she cried. You must go away from me. I command you. Is it because you want to drive me out of your life forever? He demanded. Don't put it that way. Is it because you care for me, that you want me to leave? Baldos insisted, drawing near to her. Is it because you fear the love I bear for you? Love? You don't really... Stop! Remember where you are, sir. You must not go on with it, Baldos. Don't come a step near. Don't go tonight. Do go tonight. It's for the best. I've been awfully wicked, letting this run on the way it has. Forgive me, please forgive me. Baldos pulled away, looking pale and hurt. A dignity settled upon his face, and his eyes crushed her with quiet scorn. I understand, Miss Calhoun. The play is over. You will find the luckless vagabond a gentleman after all. You ask me to desert the cause I serve. That's enough. I will go tonight. Beverly was almost ready to surrender. Had it not been for the persistent fear that her proud old father might suffer from her being willful, she would have thrown down the barrier and risked everything in the choice. Her heart was crying hungrily for the love of this tall, mysterious soldier of fortune. It's for the best, she murmured finally. Later, she was to know the meaning of the strange smile that he gave her. I go because you are dismissing me, not because I fear an enemy. If you choose to remember me at all, just be it enough to believe that I am not a shameless coward. You are brave and true and good, and I'm a miserable, deceitful wretch. You will seek Ravone and the others? Yes, they're my friends. They love my poverty. And now, may it please your highness, When am I to go forth, and how am I supposed to dress? I should no longer wear the honest uniform of a Graustark guard. Leave it to me. Everything will be arranged. You will be discreet. No one is to know that I am your... Rest assured, Miss Calhoun, I have a very good way of keeping secrets. And he gave her a contemptuous smile. I do agree, said Beverly. You know how to hold your tongue. He gave a harsh laugh. For once in a way, will you answer me a question? I will not promise. You say that you are Prince Dantan's friend. Is it true that he is to marry the daughter of the Duke of Maltz, the Countess Yolanda? That has been reported. Is she pretty? Yes, exceedingly beautiful. But is he to marry her? She said. How should I know, Your Highness? If you call me Your Highness again, I'm going to hate you forever, flared Beverly. Another question. Is it true that the young Duke Cristobal fled because his father objected to his marrying the game warden's daughter? I have never heard that, he told her. Does he know that the girl is dead? Baldos said nothing for a long time. He stared at her, his eyes expressing no emotion. I think that he is ignorant of that calamity, Miss Calhoun. With your permission, I will withdraw. There is nothing to be gained by delay. This was such a palpable snub that Beverly shrank back within herself and felt like crying. Without another word, she walked unsteadily to the window and looked out into the night. A mist came over her eyes. For many minutes she stayed there, striving to regain control of her emotions. The whole time, she knew that he was standing right where she had left him, like a statue, waiting for her command. At last she turned and faced him. You will receive instructions as to your duties here from the guard at the stairs. When you hear the hall clock strike the hour of 2 a.m, go into the chapel, but do not let anyone see you or suspect. You know where it is. The door will be unlocked. Am I not to see you again? He asked. And Beverly did not think that he seemed properly depressed. Yes, she told him, after a pause that seemed an eternity, and Baldos went quietly and silently away. Dun, dun, dun. And that is the end of chapter 23, where I swear this book does have so many twists and turns, and it's surprising and kind of funny to me that it almost reads, not exactly, but it almost reads like a book that you could pick up at, the ShopRite or Shop Aid or just any store. It's not written particularly bad. It's not written particularly good, but it's very readable. And again, the only thing that I can think is maybe there's a difference between the British authors of that time period and the Americans, or it could be, I can't remember who mentioned it to me, but it could just be the class difference, because so many of the British classics authors were in the really rich high society. And I feel like that society was probably a strata above even the rich people in the United States at that time. You know, they had that whole, we're landed gentry. And I don't know that many commoners in England wrote, at least not wrote fiction. So that could be it too. It could just be that this feels more loose, storytelling to me. I am really enjoying it. It is so much like a soap opera, though. And I mean, that is not actually a complaint. I am really enjoying this story. It's silly, it's fun, and this is like, what do they call like light summery pop music? Bubblegum pop? This is like bubblegum fiction. I'm enjoying it. I don't know if the story is going to stick with me forever, but it's light and it's fun, and I'm having a good time with it, and I hope you are too. Thank you, as always, for listening. I hope that you really enjoyed that chapter, and I will see you next time.